This is a photo of my grandmother. The woman holding her is her mother. Unfortunately, my grandma did not get to know her mother very well. About a year after this photo was taken, my great-grandmother died unexpectedly, very suddenly. For much of my grandmother's life, she was told that her mother died of a pregnancy complication. When my grandmother was an adult, she was told the truth, that her mother had died of a botched illegal abortion. It was the 30s. There was no access to meaningful contraception, no pill, no IUD. And so abortion was the way women in my family spaced and limited their pregnancies. And because of this, and because abortion was illegal, her family told her that she had to stay silent, that my grandma couldn't tell anyone. They didn't want to get in trouble with the law. And so she did. She stayed silent. She carried the shame and stigma that comes with the silencing of abortion with her for decades. And in the time between when my great-grandmother died in the 30s and when abortion became legal in the 70s, we know countless women suffered. How do we know this? We know this because every major US hospital had a ward devoted to women suffering from infections and septic shock. Doctors and clergy came together and testified. They were the ones who stood by women's bedsides during this difficult time of need and who counseled them. They advocated to legalize abortion throughout the country in the 60s and the 70s. So what happened when abortion became legal in the 70s? Well, for one, it became much safer. Women no longer die from having abortions. But it didn't become any easier to talk about. My grandma didn't share her story for another 40 years. And if anything, our current political environment is making it more difficult and more divisive. Legislators are simultaneously chipping away at our access to safe, legal services and limiting our ability to even talk about it. 43 states currently have over 200 restrictive abortion laws on the books. The current proposed federal domestic gag rule would bar Title X doctors from even saying the word abortion to their clients. Legislators know words are powerful tools, and by censoring us, they control the conversation. These laws are strategic. They're designed to close clinics, limit access, and make us feel we're doing something shameful. But we know the truth. We know the number one feeling women cite after they have an abortion is relief. A day later, a year later, 30 years later, it's relief. Yet despite this, we are coming ever closer to a time like when my great-grandmother died. Abortion access is just as important now as it ever was. 1 in 4 American women will have an abortion in their lifetime. That's 70 of us in this room right now. Whether you know it or not, you know and love or are sitting right next to someone who benefited from having access to a safe, legal abortion. We have to talk about it. We have to learn our families' histories, find out stories from our friends. Together, we can dispel the shame and stigma surrounding abortion. If you have your own story, don't wait. Don't wait to share it like my grandmother did. We can take control of the conversation. We can turn the political tide. We have to speak out. The stakes are simply too high. I'm Amy Handler. I'm an NLC fellow from North Carolina, and I work in women's health. Thank you.